It's that time of year where people like to get snuddled up on the sofa with a hot beverage to watch a horror flick, or at least a film with supernatural elements to it. Video games are also a great way to enjoy the spooky festivities, with plenty of horror games spanning across the decades. But for people who want to play something supernatural but don't like horror games, then Konami's Castlevania series are, in my book, a good choice. Once a popular gothic platformer series, now put Metroidvania in Metroidvania, the series has been signed with some of the stars appearing in other games, and an amazing animated series on Netflix. Seriously, give it a watch. With Konami barely doing anything with the series, one of the main guys involved with the franchise, KOJI IGARASHI, decided, if I'm not allowed to make another Castlevania game, then I just have to make my own. And that's basically how Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was born. But that's not the game I'll be talking about. Instead, I'll be talking about its smaller 8-bit brother, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which started as one of the Kickstarter goals for Ritual of the Night, and like Ritual of the Night that tried to capture the magic of the Metroidvania Castlevania games, Curse of the Moon was intended to capture the same feel as the old school 2D platformer Castlevania games. Curse of the Moon was developed by Inti Creates, known for their 2D platformers like the Mega Man Zero and AZURE Striker Gunvolt titles, with IGARASHI only supervising the game. So after playing it multiple times now, how is Curse of the Moon? The game starts with a text scroll telling you how much the main character, Zendetsu, hates demons and wants to kill them all. One day he finds out about a powerful demon and seeks to find it and kill it. There is a bit of dialogue when you first interact with the other playable party members, but for the most part the story is told at your standard NES game, which is very minimal. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon shares a lot of gameplay elements to the old school Castlevania titles, especially Castlevania 3, such as the committed jumps, knockbacks, consumable weapons, and the 4 playable characters, with 3 of them playing identity to the characters in Castlevania 3. But unlike those games where it can be incredibly difficult and unforgiving to newcomers, Curse of the Moon is a lot more accessible, as the levels and enemy patterns are designed with the stiff controls in mind. There is even a casual mode to remove knockback entirely and gives the player unlimited lives. I prefer playing on veteran myself, but I approve the option to have a casual friendly mode in any game. Accessibility is important, especially in video games. You start off with Zendetsu, who is your standard pierced water swordsman, but throughout your journey he is able to team up with Miriam, who is your classic Belmont, Alfred, who has powerful magic spells that can easily defeat bosses but is as fragile as a toothpick, and Jeeble, who is great at attacking enemies above him. Unlike the other 3, Jeeble cannot gain any consumable weapons, but instead he transforms into a bat to fly across large pits and reach items that the others cannot. I found each character useful, especially in certain areas where I found that using Alfred in this part of the stage is a lot easier than if I was using someone like Zendetsu or Miriam. Each character has their own health, but you won't use a life until all the characters are killed or fall into a pit. If you do use a character during the stage, then you won't be able to access some areas, permanent health and ammo pickups, which is a fair punishment. You could recruit Miriam, Alfred and Jeeble, but you could also kill or ignore them, with each decision revealing a different ending and will unlock 2 modes depending on the ending. If you kill them, Zendetsu will gain new abilities like a double jump that is so useful to direct your jumps, a dash run, and a new vertical slash attack. However, if you do kill them, then you won't be able to reach certain areas, but it was just fun just discovering new pathways, making each playthrough fresh. I like the option of ignoring both the party members and the abilities for players who want to make it harder for themselves. The 8-bit NES style is a popular visual style, especially for indie titles that try to capture those NES games, and Bloodstained is no exception. The player sprites are basic, only having 1 or 2 colors, but Inti Creates did a wonderful job with the environments and boss designs. The Stage 3 and Stage 4 boss really stand out to me for how large they are, especially the Stage 4 boss with its grotesque body taking up the entire arena. The chiptune music reminded me a lot of those old school Castlevania games, giving off the haunted yet energetic vibe those old games were known for. That's because the on-time Castlevania composer MICHIRU YAMANE was involved with the compositions for Bloodstained, alongside many of Inti Creates composers who have worked on many chiptune music before. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is obviously copying its predecessor in terms of gameplay, aesthetics, and music, but I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, especially since Curse of the Moon nails all 3, while passing some of the issues that those earlier games have, and making it easier to play for today. I would say it's probably one of the better classic Castlevania titles, especially compared to the first 3 games. Curse of the Moon isn't a long game, as you can beat the first campaign in around an hour or less, compared to how good you are. But for how cheap it is, and replayability, I would say it's worth your time, especially if you're looking for something to play for this year's Halloween. I played the game about 5 times now, and I will be definitely coming back for more. I would say for only being a side game to Rites of the Night, Inti Creates did very well for themselves, as only a few months ago, Curse of the Moon 2 was released, which will be my next video to cover. Until then, take care.